Hello, everyone, and we have a newbie.
Hello.
You should probably introduce yourself.
I should probably introduce myself. Hello, my name is John D. Ruddy. Some of you may know me, well, you might know my face because it's mainly animated stuff that I do. Manny Man does history. So you may recognize my voice, though.
Yeah, so John's another Channel Awesome person, and we had no idea each other lived so close to each other, so we ran into each other in Dublin last week, and so we decided that if we can both handle it, let's do things together.
Exactly.
We can both, I don't know if I can come all the way up from Letterkenny.
I don't know if I can handle it, man.
You gotta come and be a minion at some point.
Yeah.
So we
did
saw
a bad thing.
Yeah, we saw Buttman versus Stupid Man.
Oh dear.
But we got dinner first, so sure.
Yeah, so it was a mixed evening.
Yes,
Yeah.
And when your dinner at Weatherspoons is better than the film you're seeing, you know that's
In short, the non-spoiler version is the film is spoiled whenever you see the film because it's shit.
Although I will say
self-spoiling.
I will say I did make one prediction before the film started, and I'm willing to admit that I was completely wrong about this. Our theater was full of children. I said, it's gonna suck. They're gonna and they didn't.
Well, I predicted they would cry, and I was sad that they did not.
Yeah, but all of the children that were there just behaved themselves perfectly. I don't know what their parents threatened them with, but
yeah, I was quite impressed with that. But
if you cry, Batman will come and shoot you in the head
in the night.
And in fairness, I would believe that this Batman would come and hunt. Of anything of this film, Batman is the redeeming factor.
I think Neil deGrasse Tyson was the redeeming factor as himself.
Yeah.
Of course.
I liked Ben Affleck's Batman. He just wasn't in a good movie.
I think he needed a shave.
Oh, I love the stubble.
Because I kept
What's wrong with stubble?
No, there's nothing. But I kept thinking throughout the whole thing, do they have to delay shooting a few hours to let his stubble grow into exactly the continuity place it was before? Or do they have pre-applied stubble?
No. You just get a beard trimmer that has a certain length.
Okay.
You just
It's
all the practicalities of facial hair.
An hour too long. His stubble doesn't match. Alfred, start again.
Yeah, and the stubble. It didn't really match, aging Playboy sort of, his cover story.
But that's a thing now, though.
Yeah.
Because he's the age of it. He's really, I think, in a Batman movie, Bruce Wayne really should be Mitt Romney. At least that should be his cover. Would you expect Mitt Romney to be Batman? Okay, maybe
there's
just
a 47% chance that I'm going to kick your ass tonight.
You'd only expect it, because he would have the opportunity to kill poor people. But. And we can see Mitt Romney doing that, but that's a good cover because otherwise, if he's the young, sexy Playboy type thing, then everyone's photographing him, then they get a lot of photographic items, and who really wants to photograph Mitt Romney?
Yeah, that's very true.
So this is why I really think Will Arnett should play live-action Batman, because you can see him being asshole Bruce Wayne, who everyone hates, and then being, crazy Batman. So that would be cool, but
yeah.
The stubble, he's too old for the stubble. He was going for the sort of, the George Clooney type thing. But George Clooney is actually that age now, but he doesn't do stubble.
Yeah, and I know what you mean.
George Clooney was in an Nespresso ad the other day.
He was.
It was weird.
With Danny DeVito.
Yeah, it weirded me out.
Yeah. Well, it's the Penguin and the Batman.
Oh!
Oh my God.
Drinking espresso together.
Mind blown.
Comedy brings you together.
But no, I liked just how goddamn embittered he was. He was
so angry.
He was so angry, and I kind of liked that in Batman. He was a really angry Batman.
Why was he in the underground fighting pit thing? It's like, Bruce Wayne's here, as usual. So, again, imagine if Mitt Romney turned up at the illegal MMA fight.
Well, I
liked a bit.
Well, I think he was trying to track down the.
He didn't go in disguise. He's just like, here I am wearing a full, three-piece suit while everyone else is fighting each other.
Well, I mean, the plot of this film is so complicated
and so stupid on so many levels.
So overly complicated. There are so many things that are set up or that are given significance that have no significance. It's like, oh look, this is the reason why this character knows about this. It's like, the important thing isn't not how they know, it's the fact that they know is the important thing.
And all this shit wasn't even necessary.
No.
basically Bruce Wayne being pissed off about Superman, because the Battle of Metropolis is an okay setup for why he wants to kill Superman.
Although, serious props to the CEO running into a danger zone to personally evacuate his building. I was like, well, Jesus.
Well, that's
I never had a boss that cared like that.
That's one way of doing it, but
they weren't allowed to evacuate until he arrived, which got us.
Well, I want to know why did someone not trip?
Why didn't they evacuate?
The fire alarm.
Exactly.
Mr. Wayne, please, the explosions are getting very close. Can we evacuate, please?
No, you're not gonna... I don't know, sir. That ship's looking pretty close. The building's shaking quite a few times. I don't know, sir.
You can't evacuate, goddammit, until I look heroic in the trailer.
And then he runs into the dust cloud. It's like, what was he expecting to do? I'm
gonna grow my bat suit and attack. I'm gonna punch the dust.
Although, that being said, I loved his determined driving face. He has an awesome determined driving face. Even when he wasn't driving the Batmobile, he was, hey, look, I actually have a steering wheel. So I was like,
I want to know why Wayne Manor was being played by Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey after a firefight.
Pretty much. I have some questions. Okay, so and we know that Wayne Manor's out yonder the country. When did, because I'm not a DC person, when did Metropolis and Gotham become basically an conurbation of each other? They are across the bay from each other.
Well, that's something. Sometimes it depends on the universe or the version.
I've never come across it where they're that close, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's been kind of some explanations that it's essentially Metropolis is like Manhattan and Gotham is Jersey or Gotham is Brooklyn or Queens or whatever. But it's that kind of.
Do you know what state Gotham and Metropolis are both meant to be in?
What state?
It's the state itself doesn't exist, as I understand it, in the DC universe. However, if you look in map that was drawn up, it's Delaware.
See, I always thought it was somewhere around there. Supposed to be DC and Gotham was supposed to be New York.
No, they're both meant to be New York.
Oh,
yeah.
It's like Gotham is New York at its shittiest at night, and Metropolis is New York at its nicest during the day.
Yeah.
Essentially, they're both takeoffs because Gotham and Metropolis were both nicknames for New York.
Yeah.
But
see, one of the great things that Stan Lee did, inventions for comic book, was set them in the real world by having real life cities.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny, just kind of mentioning Marvel where. You just see DC in this film desperately trying to play catch up. Some things they do successfully, but
some things. Oh, you are not my son.
No. As in, just some the subtle references are great. There's a little reference, where Batman. Or where Bruce Wayne is like, how many good men are left in Gotham? How many stayed good? All these little throwaway references where you're like, ooh, is that like Harvey Dent?
So when he walks past the bat suit that has ha 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 Batman.
Oh, that was Robin's suit.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering
that's
if that
a reference
was a
to
the Killing Joke or whatever.
Jason Todd.
Yeah, that was Death in the Family when the Joker killed the second Robin.
Yeah. And there's
probably
and there's so there are the little things like that as opposed to how spoiler are we going to go right now?
I think we can go spoilers now because we've all decided.
If you just
exactly. Watch the movie if you watch the movie.
Based on the box office numbers, everyone wants to see it has mostly seen it already.
Exactly,
so.
And they're not going to see it again. Unfortunately, this was my second time seeing it.
Why?
You've logged about 5 hours of this now.
Yeah, no. I went to see it on the midnight screening, and And I actually fell asleep halfway there. I fell asleep during the Batmobile chase. That's how exciting that was. And having seen it now fully conscious, I didn't miss much. It was, I went to see it a second time for the sake of this interview and for the sake of it being fresh in my mind. And it was in no ways any more enjoyable. The one thing that I did really enjoy both times was the actual fight between Batman and Superman. I loved it.
I liked seeing Superman get his smug fucking face beat in. Come on, Paul, the kryptonite, get him, kick him in the nuts with your super kryptonite boots.
I loved whenever, Superman was at his full power. you know, even just a shove from him, Batman was like, oh, instantly regret this decision in life. You know, it's you see the weight, you see the pain in it. You know, and
Batman's super armor, I know it's based on the Frank Miller one,
yeah,
but that is a really crap robotic suit.
Yeah.
Because it's like Target right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
They didn't even put like some, you know, glass-looking stuff over it.
Mesh, maybe.
But then again, you're then running the danger of looking like Iron Man Mark 1.
Well, you could do
which it already kind of did.
Like if they put like some sort of clear thing over it, like make it plastic or glass, but obviously it's like, you know, I don't know, transparent aluminum or something.
Yeah. One thing I did love, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if it was Kevin Smith's influence on Ben Affleck, because it was something that Kevin Smith has been saying for years. You know, especially in relation to Christian Bale's Batman voice, is that Kevin Smith always thought that Batman should have a voice modulator.
I loved that when they brought it up, because I was like, oh, like in the last Batman movie that I saw, I can't remember which one, it was like,
yeah.
And I thought that was his voice was like that to demonstrate that he had been going out and being Batman in the night and not getting any sleep, so he's made himself ill. And he's like,
I'm laryngitis, I'm sorry.
Exactly. But then I was like, oh, wait, he's doing that. What?
Yeah. Like in Batman Begins, it was some, you know, he'd laid the seeds for it. It wasn't too bad. You know, it was a little bit raspy, but it wasn't too bad. But by Dark Knight, he was just plain, where is he? What's that man?
Apparently, Christian Bale just did that one take, and Christopher Nolan just really liked it.
Yeah.
And Christian Bale himself wasn't a big fan.
Oh, dear. And he was like, oh, no. Get me the honey and lemon, please.
But with the voice modulator, my issue is that it's clearly like a robot disguise voice. So everyone like, okay, he's got a voice changer. Mm-hmm. If they'd done some sort of a thing to make it turn his voice into another voice, then they could throw people off the
like
scent
Scream.
of who he is.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like this is, and plus,
I'm Batman.
Oh no! Get Kevin Conroy.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Mind blown.
How good would that have been?
That would be awesome.
It's like
someone do this.
Yes.
Get on it.
Yes. Give us.
Oh man.
Is this not genius? This same idea I had whenever they were doing Jango Fett. I was all like, because Boba Fett in the original trilogy had the most badass voice ever. Like the guy died a couple of years ago, but then they replaced him with Tamara Morrison, and then they replaced his voice with Tamara Morrison's. It's like, no, you get the original voice actor to play him when he's in the helmet to disguise him. It's like, why is this confusing? If you give it a realistic voice that's a disguise, it throws people off the scent over who you are.
Yeah.
Plus, you know, you got robot Batman voice comes from Batman who's wearing robot Batman stuff everywhere but his mouth.
I know, right? Well, Alfred did have it at the start. You know, he did have the little microphone at the start. Yeah.
See, I just kept getting the feeling that Lex Luthor didn't belong in this movie. I really got the feeling that this was written for the Joker. Because, of course, that's what the Joker would do. He realized he could never beat Batman with brute strength, but he could manipulate Superman to do it. And there you go.
And you could just, and even the way, even
his, like, little psychoticness.
Yeah.
You know, that's... Because when I think of Lex Luthor, I think of this businessman that Superman, I don't know why you're flying off the handle of this. I'm only evil.
That's 80s Lex. Pre 80s, you know, for the first 50 odd years, he was mad scientist, silly Lex.
Like, I mean, I found none of the performances to be particularly bad. They just didn't have a lot to work with. The writing of this film was just horrible.
Except for Eisenberg. Apparently,
he must still be picking the scenery out of his teeth.
I was so impressed that he never got kicked in the nuts.
Apparently,
I mean, I know I've been talking about that a lot tonight, but like his little like Lex Zuckerberg thing, I just don't put your fingers in senators' mouths, I think is the point that we should take from this.
Apparently Lex was meant to be, the studio wanted Tom Hanks.
Oh.
And the director originally wanted Bryan Cranston. And then Eisenberg read for another role, I don't know what other role. Yeah. And then he was like, I got an idea. And then he was
Let's make Mark Zuckerberg.
And then everyone wants to punch Zack Snyder in the soul.
Yeah. And, I mean, Zack Snyder, the opening of that film was the most uninspired way to open a Batman film.
We know where Batman comes from.
Oh my God.
I mean, they were recycling shots, not only from Batman Begins, but Batman Forever.
Yes.
Is that where it was falling? That was Batman Forever first did that. Like in 95.
Yeah.
And I don't like, okay, here's something that I'm thinking about just because I had this really weird dream last night. I don't like seeing characters' dreams. Because the thing is that, like, you can't ever recreate dream quality for somebody else because there's a psychological thing, and I forget what it's called, but I'll look it up later and I'll send it so you can put in the caption, that your brain, when it creates a narrative during memory consolidation in REM sleep, has a kind of safety check that has an it's all rightness about it. Like, you know how you're telling someone your dream and like, okay, but it made sense in the dream because there's a certain it's all rightness because your muscles in REM sleep are basically on lockdown, so you don't go like flailing all over the place and hurt yourself. But when you're watching somebody else's dreams, you have to portray them as so over the top bug nuts weird that so you're like, oh, obviously this is a dream, or so perfectly normal that you don't get it's a dream until the character wakes up, and I don't like that recently.
The only depiction of
Sorry,
that.
I'm being too pretentious.
It's cool.
No, there's one commenter who's
science.
like, Omega's so pretentious recently.
The what do you call it? The one depiction I've ever seen that rings true for the randomness of dreams for me was the episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where it was the first Slayer was haunting all their dreams, and like where it would just like randomly they would they'd be in the middle of a conversation and they'd walk over here and all of a sudden they'd be walking through curtains and they'd walk into another scene and they wouldn't address that they've just walked from one thing to the next. They're just here now and this is happening. I found that was probably the most accurate kind of depiction of that.
Yeah, but see, I was in my high school except for there were 3 pools and also staircases I've never seen before.
And then I was a snowman.
All right. Yeah. And it's just like,
and dreams don't tend to depict third-person things. Because in this one, we were seeing bits from his life as a third party. Sort of unconnected. Yeah. Well, someone dreaming that is Bruce Wayne watching those images, or is Bruce Wayne taking part in those images? But there's no connecting tissue. From what I've read about dreams, I dream like I'm watching something, but in
the third person.
I think very few people do that, as I understand it.
I switch back and forth depending.
Yeah,
it's one of those things that like it's totally depends on your memory consolidation that night.
Yeah, my dreams are basically my subconscious trying to tell me good ideas for films, basically.
If you want to see it that way. Actually, probably yours would. Yeah. But like what I was thinking after the whole dream sequence with Bruce, I'm like, so I'm conscious enough of DC stuff to know that was probably some big, huge reference to some big, huge book or big, huge thing, wasn't it?
The desert thing with your symbol?
Yeah, and then where they're like, you have to find Lois.
And all of the Geonosian giant locusts landing.
You attacked the Earth and you laid waste and Superman became your slave.
No, that's got to be a false because I would never have Wasp soldiers.
And you would never have Superman work for you.
Yeah.
But I can explain that to you guys if you want.
I'm just assuming it's something that like all the comic people would be like, but I'm kind of like
it's the way they did that because I remember back in 2012 whenever Avengers first came out and you had the end credits point with Thanos and the vast majority of the reaction was who. Nobody, and all of a sudden, everybody was, Thanos, the Infinity Gauntlet, we all know. It's like, in 2012, if you didn't, I haven't read the comics. I love the films.
You did, actually, because I was like, who is Grape Ape there at the end?
Yeah, it's like
Thanos the Mad Titan.
It's like, I had vague recollections of him, but I always kind of got him and Galactus mixed up from the 90s cartoon series.
Were they the same? Were they merged?
No, they weren't, but I always got him, and there's another guy. He's like a kind of squashed head.
MODOK.
I always get all those guys mixed up. They're all the galactic-y, spacey, villainy things.
I think MODOK's actually a computer, but looks like a person.
Yeah.
Possibly a computer. Well,
no, that was Arnim Zola. Whenever he became...
I know Arnim Zola, but I think MODOK started with he was like a janitor or something, or who was turned into this sort of computer biological hybrid thing that was designed to kill people. Because it's something... mechanical organism designed something killing.
Yeah, right. The objective of killing.
Yeah, it's what do you call it? What's the word for
an acronym?
It's an acronym, yeah.
I hate TLAs.
But MODOK is best seen in Marvel Comics on YouTube. They do these little robot chicken-esque things parodying Marvel. And it's put out by Marvel themselves. It's great.
Cool.
They do one where it was
the one where they it was Doctor Strange, but they thought it was Doctor Who.
Yes,
I like that.
You had Union Jack and Captain Britain teamed up to bring over the Doctor because it was Christmas. And
Union Jack and Captain Britain are two separate people?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
One's World War
Well,
One.
you're Irish, you wouldn't.
Well, there's been three. There's been three Union Jacks. There's been one in World War One who then came out of retirement in World War Two and died heroically.
Right.
His son took over and did the rest of World War Two and died in the 70s.
Spoilers.
Then there's the modern one who is not a Falsworth. The other two are Falsworths. The English guy in First Avenger, that was meant to be either Union Jack 1 or 2. They got the name of number 1, but he was in World War II and he was too old to be too young.
Yeah,
to be number
well,
one,
I mean, you know, the MCU kind of has its own rules and mythos as well.
I put that down as that's the second Union Jack, John Falsworth.
Yeah.
But then Captain Britain is Brian Braddock, brother of Psylocke from the X-Men.
So who has
But not in the
this?
MCU. Not in the MCU.
And Union Jack, definitely Marvel.
BBC.
Captain Britain, no idea.
The Queen.
But in this episode of what it's they're always like supernatural stuff always happens to Britain at Christmas, and we always have to get the Doctor to save the day. So they bring in Doctor Strange, and so then Doctor Strange's like, okay, how can I save you? And he's like, well, we have to train you to be properly British to defeat these enemies.
Yeah, indeed.
So they force him to drink tea and to have witty repartee, and then Blade turns up because Blade's actually English in the comics.
Is he?
Yep, he
I
is.
didn't know this either.
And then they're all like, Doctor Strange's like, wait, you're British, are you? And he's like, well, of course I'm British, and I certainly don't owe any US-backed taxes.
Very good.
And then the Queen got kidnapped by MODOK and like some sort of evil British Grey Hulk. I'm not really sure why he was like that. And they all get sucked into a time portal.
So you should definitely watch that on YouTube, not...
Yeah.
It's a funny series.
Actually, the trailer for the new Lego Batman movie was better.
Oh my god, I know.
See, this is what we got one for Civil War. It's like, this is what you could be watching right now, but you're not.
Pretty much. Like I think this, and even just kind of seeing in context of how excited we are for Captain America Civil War.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That we're talking about it in the Batman v Superman.
Exactly. You have to build up to something like this. And yeah, I get that we know who Superman is, we know who Batman is. You kind of don't need to build it up, which is fair enough. But the execution of this film was just horrible.
Actually, you do need to build it up. Because, okay, I tried to explain this in tweets yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go over it now. To most of the audience, Iron Man and Captain America, Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, are the only Iron Man and Captain America. Most of them are not familiar with the earlier version of the comics. So that's the special thing. It's the Captain America and the Iron Man. Yeah. With this, it's a version of Superman that wasn't well regarded.
Yeah, this is very true. It's
a new Batman that you don't care about.
Sorry, Ben Affleck, no one cares about you.
Well, yeah, because you gotta be with the character to give a shit. Otherwise,
that's very true.
There's every single time there's a new Batman, it dilutes the character. It's just another Batman.
Yeah, it's he's expendable almost.
Yeah, with the other ones, there's only one.
Exactly. I know, so that's true. That's true.
For Batman and Superman to have any sort of weight, it really should have been Christopher Reeve versus Michael Keaton or something like that. But obviously impossible. They could have got around this problem a little bit by casting an older Batman or doing it set in the old universe. It's somehow, like, for instance, they could have had Batman, don't mention Bruce Wayne, have Batman being Joseph Gordon-Levitt and being helped by Lucius Fox and Michael Caine.
Right.
Pretend that it's Bruce Wayne, but don't ever address it.
Yeah.
Leave the identity of Batman for another film. That's their problem.
Exactly.
Or Michael Keaton. Have Michael Keaton turn up, but Alfred's dead because that country he's old enough to be dead, and then have some random elder statesman black guy turning up, being Lucius Fox helping it, or Barbara Gordon, and just be all like, this is a stealth possible sequel to the Tim Burton ones.
Yeah.
Then you've got emotional connection with an older Batman.
Yeah, this is very true. It was a bit like kind of what they were saying if. Well, whenever the idea of Marvel's Spider-Man kind of was unclear, where they were talking how it should be Miles Morales trained by Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker.
That was an interesting idea, though. If I was in charge, I would have gone for Andrew Garfield, simply because he was the one that. Because then you can build off those films, even though the second one was completely shit. Yeah,
well, and I think that was the problem. I think they had tarnished it. And as great as Andrew Garfield, but I mean, I think it's such a bad sign of a Spider-Man movie when it's Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield's chemistry in their lovey-dovey scenes that was the best bit of it. And they were a joy to watch. They were so much fun to watch.
Yeah, everything else was like...
Everything else was just... set up. Oh, look, we're setting up another movie. Oh, look, we're setting up another movie. Oh, look, we're setting up another movie.
I just realized something. There was more whinging in this movie than Lego Spider-Man does in the entirety of Lego Marvel.
I know, right? There was...
Because, there was more whinging than MySpace. But seriously, I really... Okay, there's a really great YouTube video, I don't know what it's called, but Nash showed it once on RDA, where two alternate universe Batmans get together, start fighting, and then they start, crying about they go blue, blue, blue. And it's really hilarious. And I really literally expected, why did you say that name? It's his mother's name.
I don't have a mother anymore.
Seriously.
We have the same mother's name. We're now friends.
I don't think he's I failed him in life. And he'd be like, you weren't friends. You knew him for literally a few, 72 hours. The entirety of the movie of Frozen was longer than the time you actually knew him in character.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
What he got, this film lacked any sense of humor whatsoever. It attempted it. I think Lawrence Fishburne was supposed to be a bit of a comic relief with his sass.
He was like, "Where's Clark? Don't do this, Clark. I'm gonna do it anyway."
And I have
if
to
you
say,
disobey your boss that much, you should be with your butt in HR's, talking to HR.
I have to say how hilarious it was. Just spoilers. When after Superman dies, and here it is, on the front page of the Daily Planet, Superman is dead or whatever, and then in the back, in the middle somewhere, Clark Kent died in the battle too. Photo of Clark Kent.
He looks a bit like Superman.
They died. They're being buried on the same day.
This is why I have...
By the Scottish Amish of Kansas.
Zack Snyder saw Spock's funeral in Wrath of Khan and said, that sounds great.
Exactly. Well, sure, they also did that for the Commissioner in Dark Knight.
Apparently, America just really loves bagpipes.
Amazing Grace.
I thought
which was written in Donegal, apparently.
Well, the thing about doing Amazing Grace and the bagpipes,
we got Danny Boy.
No, and I think, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, that it's a police thing. I think that it's because a lot of the police in New York and Boston and Philadelphia were Irish.
Yeah, but why
I think
Kansas?
It's a Scots-Irish thing. I don't know. That's why I said, there certainly are a lot of Scottish Amish in Kansas.
Was Smallville always in Kansas?
Yeah. But Kent is not really a Scottish-Irish name.
No, that's why I thought it was kind of funny that they were doing this kind of Amish funeral with a bagpipe. Where did you get him? Did you fly him in from the... What?
Bruce Wayne paper. This is my Wayne family bagpiper.
Yeah.
But for literally years for this idea for a Superman thing to help disguise the fact that Superman and Clark Kent are the same person. Mm-hmm. Cast a really thin guy as Superman. He doesn't need fucking muscles. He can't build them.
Yeah, this is very true.
Superman, part of his super suit is a muscle suit, so he looks different.
I think that's what they.
Captain America, where he was really weedy at the beginning, but he had Chris Evans' head.
Well, yeah, but in the universe, he'd be wearing a suit that makes it look like he's muscular.
I think they attempted that with Nicolas Cage with Superman Lives.
A little bit more, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a funny one, really.
You know who auditioned for Batman on this, and this list gets funnier and funnier. 3 cast members from The Hobbit.
Who?
Thorin.
Okay.
Richard Armitage.
Okay, he's not old enough. Okay, that's not hilarious in itself.
Yeah.
Bard the Bowman.
Yeah.
The guy that kind of looked like...
what's his name? Rhys Evans.
Look at Evans.
Luke Evans, not Rhys Evans. Rhys Evans is another very different Welsh actor.
Yeah, although they were going for an older Batman, so
who was the third one?
These guys in their 30s. Orlando Bloom.
Oh, for God's sake.
He'd be a fine Superman.
He'd be a guy.
Because, Superman is meant to be sort of like, I don't have many emotions, but those ones I do have are all positive. Citizen.
No, they were all douchey. Okay, here's his big beef against Batman. He branded 2 criminals.
Yeah.
And, the one criminal, they said, he was a pedophile, and so...
It's how dare you brand,
He was nearly beaten to death in prison. The brand seems to be a mark of death. No, they will beat pedophiles to death in prison. That's what they do, okay? Sex traffickers, they will try to beat you to death in prison.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's like, no one cares that Batman's a vigilante. He's beating up poor people.
He's taking the law into his own hands.
So
wait a minute.
He's really angry because he's beating up criminals who are poor. And I'm like, well,
that's what he does.
I have to say that there was something very suspicious in this film too. Very, very suspicious.
Now, guys, this might jump at some point because we hit the 30-minute mark and the camera does that. It'll
so don't freak out.
Don't freak out if for like half a second it goes like
just
weird.
blame it on YouTube.
Yeah. And there's this little montage because we need a montage of Superman saving Superman save shit. And
you had all the brown people being all like, "Oh, he's a god."
Touch him.
That's a bit.
Well, but you had this moment of where there's a Russian rocket,
white savior,
and it takes off and it blows up, and literally as it's blowing up, Superman's carrying down the top of the rocket, and you're like, was Superman waiting for it to blow up?
Literally,
that looks
how
dodgy.
does he get places that quickly?
It's like, well, I mean, he can travel really quickly, and in other cases, it's people waiting to be saved. He's like, oh, they're on the news. How? Oh no, he's gonna die. Pew, off he goes. Yeah. That's fine, but it's like. Is he kind of sitting there watching this Russian?
Well, the Russians are shit at industry. It's going to blow up at some point.
Exactly.
He uses his X-ray vision and sees it's going to blow up, and he's just like,
oh my god!
I don't care to tell them.
I think
I saw an O-ring was at a place.
I think they forgot that Superman had X-ray vision in this movie.
Yeah, because his mother, when she was kidnapped, was right next to blacked out windows. Yeah. He can see through everything but lead.
Yeah, exactly. And he
could look down and see what the fish in the planet.
Well,
no, that's the only one he can't.
Here's the problem, because there was something that I was thinking
movies,
about.
I'm not a massive DC expert.
All the buildings coming down just have a lot of 9/11 connotations, especially if you're American. And then there's a part where there's a news talking about if Superman should save everyone, why should we stop him? And there are families literally on roofs that have drawn the Superman symbol that are praying for him.
Very, very well for people who are panicking.
I know, right?
That. Maybe there's a graphic designer in the family. But I'm thinking of Hurricane Katrina and stuff like that. And I've targeted what bothers me about Superman is that he can't save everyone. And that really pisses me off when we're always portraying Superman. Oh, he saved this person. Well, then why did he not save this person? Why did this tragedy happen?
Well, I think there's a lot to be said for that. And if you want to get into theology and whatnot, and this idea of, if there is a God, why does he not? Why do bad things happen? Don't
think too hard on that, because that drove Lex Luthor mad, apparently.
Yeah, I know.
Well. most depictions of the God, that involve that discussion have him claiming some degree of omnipotence. And if you're omnipotent, everything's equally easy.
Yes.
Any degree of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no.
All I'm saying is that DC should have kept their goddamn mouth shut and not released a comic right after 9/11 showing Superman helping people but not really stopping the bombing. So that personally pissed me off. And that's why I'm not a DC person.
Comparing Superman to God is problematic.
But yet that was half the premise of the movie.
I know. Yeah. It's stupid, though, because he's just a guy who has powers. God, as believed in by most people, is not just a guy with powers. Yeah. He has...
Despite the whole, previous movie of Man of Steel going, he is Jesus, look, he is Jesus. He's actually... And the cross. Oh, I loved it. I didn't notice that the last time.
Okay, so they're pulling him down, and basically they're wrapping him up in his cloak.
They're doing the passion thing.
Yeah. To Lois Lane and Wonder Woman, basically Mary and Mary Magdalene. And... I noticed...
So which one's his mother?
I don't even think about it. Probably Wonder Woman, because she's older. But, so I noticed things in the background.
Why'd you say that name?
I noticed that that was what I was trying to get your attention for the shot. Past, when Lois Lane is standing in his grave, spoilers, there's a cell mast in the background. I'm like, oh, honey, look, a cell mast. Oh, sorry. But, I looked and there was... Because I like cell masts. Because I used to work in telecom construction. But, so in the background, there's 3 of the old-timey, wooden posts with the cross. So you basically have the 3 crosses in the background of Golgotha. And I was like, I see what you did there.
You're subtle. See, this is subtle.
Don't think we didn't.
Although, to be fair, Superman Returns had way more Jesus imagery than either of these two.
This is very true.
And weirdly enough...
And you were defending Bryan Singer earlier.
Superman Returns was deeply flawed, but it was better than the last two Superman films.
Did they pay Zod's actor to be naked?
And
Or did they just make
I think
a
he was
cast
in a
of
couple
him?
of shots, but mostly it was a
dubbing. Yeah.
Because Michael Shannon said he did actually do some.
I will find him.
I will be naked.
I
for
will
Superman.
find him.
But with Brendan Routh's Superman was far more Supermanish.
Yeah.
Although he is a deadbeat dad.
This is your man who has now been demoted to the Atom.
Yes.
Yes.
But it's weird that Superman's depicted as Jesus so much.
Yeah.
When actually the creators, who were both Jewish, intended him to be Moses.
Yeah, well.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because he's
I
like,
didn't know that.
sent by somewhere else, as a baby, and then grows
Oh,
up.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, he was
Okay.
Mind
he was
blown.
That's what he was based on a bunch of different things, but one of them was Moses.
Remember that time that there was a flood, son, and I drowned horses?
Yeah. Oh man, Kevin Costner.
Every single time he comes on, he gets worse.
It's like, remember that time I told you to not save those kids?
Well, I drowned
horses.
Next week he's gonna
I
be like,
died for a dog, son.
next week he turns up, he's gonna be like, son, when you were a baby, I raped you.
Oh man.
My brother's Hitler. I want you to know.
My daddy's Stalin. Work out that family
so
tree.
bad.
That was a confusing family reunion
just such a
sometime. So
parody
many
of himself
mustaches.
Yeah. It's like, I did Waterworld. Oh my god, the horses of Waterworld.
No!
He flooded it. It was him.
It's all coming together.
Gills. Muta.
This is just
Oh dear.
so...
Son, I gotta tell you as well, I directed Transformers 3.
You're not my real dad.
That would be a huge plot twist. Kevin Costner directed Transformers 3.
Oh, no, it was Mr. Kent.
Yes, of course. I didn't see that film,
He was
actually.
history's greatest monster.
Oh, dear. Yeah. What else was in that film? Jeremy Irons was a fun Alfred.
I kind of feel like they just paid him to hang around the set. Like, he just occasionally ended up in the movie.
Acerbic and judgmental about
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, like, I mean, this very much appears to be a universe without Lucius Fox, because, I mean, Alfred is just Captain Techman who, just fixes everything.
Yeah.
Although, I do like the canon, and I can't remember if it was the animated series where it came from, that Alfred has been in the service a long time, and his first service was Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Oh, yeah.
He was a secret agent, I believe, ever since the 70s.
Okay, I thought that was just an animated series thing. I didn't want to say anything in case it would be like, actually...
Yeah.
In episode 37 of...
Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, kind of regarding, what is canon and whatnot, I'm well aware that there are so many different universes and stuff that...
Yeah, and DC every 3 or 4 years likes to
resets.
upend.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah.
But, weirdly enough, you know where the Batcave originates in?
No.
That originates in, if I remember correctly, the 1940s Batman serial. Mm-hmm. The Bat's Cave. He didn't have one before.
Oh.
Right.
Like I think Superman flying originated in like a cartoon, because originally he was meant to
He just jumped.
And he leapt. That's why he leapt tall buildings in a single bound.
Oh, I didn't think about
Because
that.
he never flew.
Yeah, and I never quite kind of got they never sold that on me either in Man of Steel, where he's learning to fly, and it's like they have him jump really far, and that's fine because he's super powered, he can jump. But it's like super jumping doesn't evolve into flying. You have to.
To be fair, flying
Maybe he learns exactly how much to push off of gravity, or I don't know.
Because flying is
Physics are
basically
awesome.
falling but missing the ground. Because that's what orbiting is.
But he
does
levitates.
hover. Yeah,
he's
So
standing there
he's just
like Jesus.
He's working on managing to avoid hitting the ground.
Maybe he's like doing something against gravity. He's like flapping his
He's like, yeah, he's like got these tiny little tendrils.
cilia.
Yeah. Midi-chlorians.
He's flapping his butt cheeks.
Oh, sorry, I said a bad word.
I like how this Batman's head is completely bulletproof, I'm guessing, because he's a massive bonehead, because he's an idiot.
He
Yeah.
does take a few headshots. He's like, stop shooting
Yeah,
at me.
I did like that, where the guy came up to him, 2 headshots in the back, and Batman just took it personally. Like, he was just like, oh no, you didn't.
And they made a big deal of this Batman not wearing crazy body armor, but instead wearing, what looks like cloth or something like that. So then you have him taking headshots.
Well, I mean, I would imagine it's probably some kind of reinforced Kevlar.
I know, but it would need to be bigger to be able to stop shots.
It's a comic book movie.
They went for
they're shooting blanks. Maybe they're just really bad henchmen.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, but they were just going for the completely antithesis of the armored Batman.
Maybe they were
he's bulletproof.
Maybe they were the super soft, rubbish, brand new, top secret Lex Luthor bullets.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh,
that was part of subplot 15.
When did Jimmy Olsen join the CIA?
Because that was Jimmy Olsen.
Was that Jimmy Olsen?
Wasn't he supposed to be literally like the mailboy at the Daily Planet?
It was a photographer, but yeah. But that is like a parody of grimdark version of Superman. It's like Jimmy Olsen is a CIA agent who gets killed and shot in the head on the star.
Like, isn't he kind of important to Superman?
Like he's Superman's pal.
Like there was
not anymore.
There was something I didn't get.
He's supposed to dress up and Jimmy Olsen, he gets into all sorts of scrapes. Yeah. Superman adopts him occasionally. He dresses up as a woman for random occasions.
No, I got shot.
And
he got shot. He's dead.
Arabic
He's dead.
He works for the CIA.
Yeah,
apparently.
The one thing that I didn't get was that point whenever what's her name, Lois Lane is talking to. She fight. The longest subplot where she finally gives your man the bullet and he finally comes back to her and says, "Ooh, it's classified," but it's the bit where she realizes. How did they know that he would come? And you see in the flashback, she puts two and two together. Oh my God, they made the connection. He would come to rescue me. So surely the next time that she sees...
So who sent her on that story then?
Who knows? But the thing is, it's a conspiracy. But the thing is, the point where the next time she sees Superman, she should be like, Lex knows who you are. Lex knows something.
Here's the thing, they're like, the metal came from LexCorp. Well, DuPont make a shit ton of things that they sell to other people who used to make a shit ton of things. The metal was produced by this company who couldn't possibly have sold it to an arms manufacturer.
Yeah, it's just like...
Careful now, DuPont may shoot you as well.
I've been to their museum several times.
You can see there, if this was, being used in Iron Man 1, Tony Stark could come to the conclusion that Tony Stark was trying to kill him.
Yeah.
And he'd have to lock himself in a bunker to stop himself from killing himself. It's like, oh my God, I'm suicidal. I don't know it. Those are Stark weapons they're shooting at me. When did I sign this off?
So many, and then they're like,
I hate you, Stark.
So a lot of this, centers on getting information from Lex Luthor, who apparently has no firewall whatsoever. The people can just, let me plug this into a coaxial.
And I think that once you've stolen information from a computer, it doesn't exist in the computer anymore or anywhere else. It's like, do they don't realize that digital is different from analog?
Yeah.
So he finds these files and other meta-humans, and somehow Lex Luthor knows all of their logos. Like the Wonder Woman logo, and I had to like, who's it? Oh, Aquaman, right? Because I know that's the Flash.
Why is Khal Drogo swimming?
Yeah, it was, but I mean, it was just the way they presented that. It was just so blatant.
It was like, get it?
It's like, look, we're setting stuff up. It's like
we're doing a Marvel thing.
Yeah, but
that's fantastic. Say that again.
Yeah, but when Marvel do it, for the most part, anyway, they've
generally it's post credit.
I'd like to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
Yeah, it teases.
We're like, why?
As opposed to look, he's got super fast powers. Whoosh, whoosh. It's the Flash!
Who earlier appeared in sort of zany samurai armor through a time portal and was yelling...
Was that what that was
I think
about?
so,
That's
yeah.
the Flash.
A dream within a dream as well.
Something in Justice League 17 is going to cause the Flash to run back in time and communicate with... I wish that didn't exist.
Another thing that I didn't like is when Wonder Woman finally shows up in Wonder Woman regalia, everything's in slow motion, soft focus, and they're playing her theme song. It's going to be her theme song in her movie.
And they constantly...
And isn't she okay, I don't know anything about Wonder Woman, despite having Wonder Woman little panties and an undershirt when I was about 3 and running around the house.
She's an
alien. She's from an alien planet.
No. Wonder Woman, okay, in ancient Greeks, they were Amazons, like in myth, and they went off to their own island because, where they were hanging out with gods and stuff because they exist, sort of, and then they separated themselves from the world.
Like Thor gods, like alien gods.
Well, the Greek gods in DC version.
Yeah.
And then they developed high technology and stuff like that, and they separated themselves from the world of man. So they're on the island of Themyscira. Mm-hmm. And then they created Diana, Wonder Woman, out of clay to be like a golem type thing. Who's like, you're awesome, here you are. And then she went off into the world of men to be their emissary.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I thought she was
she's a bit like Thor.
Okay. Yeah.
But in this one, she's like... every 3 or 4 seconds you get this close-up of Wonder Woman just to remind you that she exists. It's like, sorry, we have to make up for the fact that she wasn't here for most of the time, or...
She looks familiar, though, that actress. What do I know her from?
Gal Gadot.
I don't know what you might have seen her in. I think that's the first time I saw her in anything.
I think she was in something like The Walking Dead or something.
I've seen her in an advert or something.
I don't think so, because she's Israeli, and there's not many Israelis.
I wonder what accent that was.
Yeah, she's Israeli.
In Walking Dead, unless she was doing a southern accent.
No, maybe it wasn't The Walking Dead, or
something,
some popular TV show. I don't know.
We're sure that you know, viewing audience, but yeah.
The internet will know to Google.
It was long and loud. A lot of the action scenes, like, the cuts happened too quickly, so I wasn't really sure what was happening or who was moving where. Like, the car chase scene especially.
I fell asleep during the car chase scene in the first time around.
This is the least. This was the least thrilling Bat action sequences. Generally, him taking on henchmen and doing Batmobile stuff.
Yeah, like finally at the end, I'm like, oh yeah, it's a good, like, one of the Arkham games. All right.
Yeah, I liked that. That was, and it was.
I thought it was very unthrilling though, because
I could almost see
too
your
much
fingers
like an
twitching as you were
Arkham.
imagining how you would take down the room.
Yeah.
It was too much like an Arkham game though, so it just felt I was watching a video game.
Yeah, well, I mean that's kind of become a bit of a problem, kind of whenever you're kind of.
Yeah, but it's not like an abstract problem. This is almost exactly, because I was spotting him doing the tricks that you can do in the Arkham games.
Yeah, the
like
slamming the face down. And...
Yeah, so it was like you were watching someone else play the game. And most times that's like an abstract. It's like a video game. This one is like a particular video game in incredible detail.
Yeah.
So that's why it sort of.
It's based on the same character, though. I mean.
I know,
but yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
If they'd done that sort of Bat action sequence before the Arkham games, it would have been mind blowing.
Yeah.
But now it's just like
I've done
I
would have done it this way. Actually.
Yeah.
I know. I looked at you. Knew you were thinking. Well,
to be honest, I was kind of thinking that. I was like, rather than jumping up, I would have actually, backclawed my way up to the top and just kind of hung there from the shadows and picked them off one by one.
Yeah, or using the
the
rope takedown, using the ice stuff. There's lots of things he could have done, and he did use a lot of the tricks.
And I love to see that, and used quickly, and there wasn't the bit where he used the back claw to pull the box over and stuff, like. It didn't make a meal out of it. It was like, he was just a doosh, doosh, like there wasn't this big doosh, doosh, click, bang, whoa.
What he possibly should have done, this to make it less Batman-y and probably more frightening, would be if he threw down smoke bombs and then we didn't see him take the guys down. We saw little flashes through the smoke and we heard it.
Yeah, but I like the opening scene of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, a bit like that. Yeah.
Yeah. My big problem with that film actually was that it took way too long to see Batman.
That's a good point.
Because the first time you properly see him, you see him. What's the first? Oh well, you see the blurry, where the cop nearly blows off.
The cops are like,
the guy's head.
Face, you asshole.
Like, I'm half a ton of Ben Affleck. How am I hiding in this shack in the corner of the ceiling?
So it's. And then the next time you see him in the dream where he's in the big trench coat thing, and it's kind of
killing everyone,
like Diesel Punk Batman.
Yeah, and which was cool, but at the same time you're like, I want to see this movie's Batman, and you see him looking at the bat suit, and the bat suit looks class, but you're getting to a point where you're like, I actually want to see Batman in this movie, and. It comes close where he's looking down at the ship and stuff about to do the Batmobile scene, and you see him from behind with the cape and stuff, and you see his face, but you don't actually see his suit. You don't see it until eventually, finally, and this is also the first time when Superman and Batman actually first face off, about an hour and 15 minutes into the film, or however long. I don't know how. That's what it felt like anyway. How long it was, and he rips the top of the Batmobile off, and he's like, the Bat is dead, and it's like, dude, go away. But it's like, this is the first time that you finally get to see the bat suit.
Yeah.
And it was like, by that point, you were like, I don't care about this film now. You've bored me so much that now that you've finally shown me, I kind of don't care.
It's the thing that I don't like of, I'm the villain. Actually, no, the climactic villain is this guy that you've never heard of, except, if you were a comic book person.
But not only that, but this is your Doomsday.
Okay, didn't he look exactly like a cave troll? He looked so much like
exactly
a cave troll.
like a cave
I wondered
troll.
if they just basically used the mocap from Lord of the Rings and just reskinned it.
The fact that Doomsday had no genitals was really distracting.
Yeah.
Because he was made out of General Zod.
No, he could build one out of a spike if he
I know, but he was built out of General Zod, which indicates for some reason the thing that turned him into Doomsday meant his cock fell off.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he was so angry.
Maybe it was. Well, I mean, it was a deformation, so maybe that was part of the deformity.
I find it so. Everyone said they found. So many people said they found Dr. Manhattan's cock and Watchmen to be distracting. I was like, no, it's perfectly not distracting.
Exactly.
That makes sense. He's naked.
It would be more distracting if he was an action man, you know?
Yeah, and this one. They got the problem. It's like
he's just a radioactive.
It's more distracting that he doesn't have it.
Yeah, he's a mutated Kryptonian. Why the fuck? Who's naked? Why doesn't he have a cock? Why not give him some trousers or something if you don't want to?
Yeah, a loincloth or something. Exactly. Yeah.
And I like how, don't worry, America will nuke him. It'll be fine. Although the second that missile blasted off, that would have alerted every single nuclear power in they would have gone to immediate. Hands on the button, let's go, let's do
this. Would have been the end of G.I. Joe 2.
And I think the one girl is like, she's like genuflecting for Superman's soul. I'm like, he's an alien. He'll be fine.
He can punch Jesus. Yeah. It's okay.
And they're like, Mr. President, what about Superman? God have mercy on us.
One of the problems with this, apart from trying to set everything up,
we couldn't be asked to actually choose the president,
and being shit and being written by stupid people, is if you have Batman versus Superman, you gotta either have Batman is completely crazy and grief and paranoid and is trying to take down Superman, make Batman the main character, make Superman appear all imposing while being clearly not evil.
Yeah.
But showing that Batman's crazy and paranoid. Or do the exact same thing, but from Superman's point of view, it's like, here I am being heroic and all saving the world, and suddenly crazy man in a bat suit keeps jumping at me and trying to punch me in the face.
So don't tell it from both perspectives.
Yes.
Because you know what? The entire movie, I was 100% on Batman's side. I'll tell you why. I was always been on Batman's side because everyone's like, oh, Batman's superpower is he's very rich. Okay, he does have a lot of money to do what he wants. But all the abilities he has trained to get. And if he didn't have at least some talent, he wouldn't have been able to train to do what he does. So I kept thinking about this.
Still doesn't give him the right to take the law into his own hands.
No, not quite. But against Superman has these abilities.
Yeah.
Batman's
great
had to
power comes great responsibility. Oh wait, wrong comment.
Everyone kept saying, oh, it's man against God and things and stuff. And what does man do? What makes man separate from all other animals? Man uses tools. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
He dodges. Yeah. If he uses
and I did love that. I loved how he had all his gadgets.
And that actually has a biblical precedent. There's a bit in the Old Testament where the Hebrews, because they're with God, they were able to wipe out all these guys and conquer them. But then they said there's this group that they couldn't conquer because, even though God was with them, because they had chariots of iron.
Was basically the Phoenicians or something like that?
I can't remember.
The Syrians?
No, it's neither of them. It was a small group. Okay. But this little bit in the Bible indicates that the one thing that can defeat God, the biblical God, the Christian God, is iron chariots or technology. That's why there's a Wikipedia there's a wiki on the internet which is dedicated to anti-religious sort of claims, like debunking them and going through them and counter-arguing them.
Yeah.
It's called Iron Chariots because it's like But
that's right.
It's technology versus God has biblical precedence.
Yeah, Superman is just a smug cunt who's like, I do the right thing. Shut up! You're like Captain America, but worse.
His biggest superpower, Superman's, is his super morality. At least it's supposed to be. This one, he's just like, I'm mopey and sad, Superman.
Yeah, but then he's like, I killed some. You killed thousands of. They have this big monument to him. He killed thousands of people.
He didn't even try to take the fight away.
For the epic fight, Batman summons him to a place he knows is abandoned.
And I loved how this time because Man of Steel got so much flack for the collateral damage that this film just seems like a complete apology to it. But I started laughing when I was watching it because
that's abandoned.
It's like it's a good thing that downtown Metropolis is practically everybody's gone home.
Why don't the people fucking live there?
And you're like, What? Well, no. In fairness, I mean, you know, it's a bit like Canary Wharf in London.
Okay.
Yeah, like I mean, it's dead on weekends.
It's just
like.
clear that they were trying to avoid the same hassle.
It's a good thing thousands of people aren't gonna.
Or the projectile number 1. It's landed on whatever island. It's uninhabited.
Why is this giant island between two giant cities not inhabited?
Think about Ellis Island. Like a lot of those ones are
Is
just
that between New York and the equivalent of New York and Chicago?
A lot of them are like really small little things that like used to have like a house on them. Like the one
that was a big island, though. Just think, you got two giant cities right beside each other, and then you have a big island. The island which is probably about half the size of Manhattan.
Because something probably might have been there, like for example, Alcatraz Island.
Yeah.
Someone, if it's uninhabited, someone will build something there. Someone will build.
Yeah, but not if it's owned by the city. Look this up. There are
the likes of Ellis Island, like even Liberty Island and stuff. You know, there's.
Okay, I still I think it's stretching.
It's not. Don't worry. But we only have like 3 minutes left of matter, so say what you need to say.
I gotta explain to you why the dream thing.
Oh.
The Omega symbol was because that is the symbol of Darkseid, who is basically the one that Thanos was inspired by, who is like in charge of the anti-life equation, and he started off just wanting to get rid of everyone's free will, and now he's basically their DC's cosmic Satan.
Okay.
And the winged guys were some slaves who work for him.
I don't like the Wasp Warriors.
Yeah.
So he's come to Earth and conquered Superman, made him do his bidding, and
apparently Lex Luthor knows how to get him on the hot phone or something. So he's like, oh, he's coming back.
Yeah, because Warner Brothers have already released a deleted scene.
Yeah.
You know, where they're like, oh, look, Lex Luthor was chatting to somebody else. It's like, if you're going to release a deleted scene literally just after the film's been released...
That shows how terrified you are of the falling numbers.
Exactly, that's it.
I mean, Wonder Woman and Suicide Squad are coming out, but Justice League is filming literally next week.
Yeah.
Will it film? How terrified are Warner Brothers?
I'll probably go see Suicide Squad. From this film, I have no interest in going to see the Wonder Woman movie.
We got a minute left, so...
Yeah, we have a minute left.
The last Justice League movie was meant to be filmed with George Miller from Fury Road, and they pulled that days before filming began. So Warner Brothers have been spooked before. I'm not 100% sure we'll see a Justice League movie. I think we probably will.
Probably.
Not definitely.
Yeah.
So don't see this. I mean, you probably already have.
Well, yeah, I mean... It's.
We saw it on a half-price night, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it was not good. We're looking forward to Civil War.
Yeah.
Yes, come on, Civil War.
And I might go see that Disney Zoo movie. It looks cute.
Yeah. And there we go. There's it.
See you later, guys.
Everybody.
See you later.
And we died.